Hello everyone, and welcome back. Here's your most recent update with the PPP. Yes, that's right. We are already in the middle of the month of June, and it's been a lot of changes, as you probably have been hearing in the news. So I'm going to bring you an update of PPP and what my personal opinion is. I have to say that I'm really kind of shocked with all the changes, but at the same time, I'm glad. I mean, I think they really have been very positive. So in case you don't know who I am, I'm Liz Soria. I'm a tax advisor accountant. I have helped many small business owners throughout the last probably 10 years of my life. I have been running a small boutique cloud accounting firm. And right now, I mean, things are different for everyone, right? So we're going to jump right in. What do you think? Okay. Well, I personally don't have anything against, who got appointed in the SBA. I think you know who I'm talking about, the lady that I'm sharing the screen with. Yeah, Jubita, whatever her name is. But I will say to you that I think she's under a lot of pressure right now, and I'm glad finally, okay? Because I know some of you out there have suffered so much, and that's including myself. Yeah, that's right. I apply also for the IDL in this situation instead of the PPP, and it's just been a nightmare. Anyhow, I'm going to do a separate video, an episode for that one for the IDL. But let's talk about the PPP, right? So right now, what I really like about the changes is that I always thought from the beginning, when they say that everyone had to use the funds within 8 weeks, it was like, are you kidding me? How are you going to use all that money in 8 weeks? It just didn't make any sense. So I'm glad that someone made sense out of logical planning that they did at the beginning. Now I understand, the government has been under a lot of pressure also. So not only we're going through a health crisis, and not only here in the United States, but across the globe, right? And then on top of that, to make things worse, I mean, now we have to deal with the crap of, economically things falling apart, and, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, we're never open the doors again. And I know so because I have had a lot of clients that, well, they're out of business. That's the reality, and it breaks my heart, but that is the truth. And so, I feel like the fact that they have changed the 8 weeks to 24 weeks sounds to me a lot more reasonable. All right. And one of the things I do want to mention, I want to clarify, is that just because they opened the 24 weeks, you have to be cautious, because what they really mean by that is that even though from the time, the date that you got the funds, then you have 24 weeks, all right? So a lot of people think, oh, no, I have now until December 31st. Not really. You have to count the 24 weeks from the time you receive the funds. So if you got your funds last month, you have to start calculating, keeping track of that period of time from the day that you receive the monies all the way to those 24 weeks. Okay, so that's number one, that is very important. Again, I'm glad they really have extended that time, because I mean, I don't know how anyone was going to handle those 8 weeks. It was almost impossible. The next step that I really think that they did very well with the changes was the fact of changing that forgiveness portion of 75 to 60%, right? I always found it was too kind of high, that everything had to be invested just in payroll, especially because I know some of you folks out there, you're really small businesses, whether you're gig workers, whether you're freelancers, or perhaps you might have less than 5 employees, okay? So the fact that now you're able to utilize them 60%, and then you really have the other 40% to use for utilities and rent, right? And all those other extra operating expenses, then that's going to really help you a lot. Now, remember that the most important thing that I have told, my clients, and I would tell you, whether you're listening, by the way, through my podcast, which I do have one for many years, and also, or maybe perhaps through my YouTube channel, is figure out that you do need to keep track. Now, I know many of you cut corners and you might not be financially, that well, and some of you might have a lot of money still stored in your bank account. Always remember you want to invest in professional services. Why do I say that? Not because I'm only a professional, there's plenty of professionals out there, but the fact is that you want to have somebody who's tracking those expenses separately. One of the things that I notice as an accountant is that a lot of people, they rely on their bookkeepers, and that's great. Many bookkeepers out there, by the way, I have hired many myself. They're very qualified and they're very experienced. However, that's not the majority, that's the minority, okay? And what happens is that if you have an inexperienced bookkeeper, they're not going to be able to know how to track separately all these loans that you had taken out in the PPP. And then on top of that, I know some of you, some of you have been taking IDL loans too. So, I mean, these are things that you want to keep completely separate, even if it's under the same entity or if it's the same type of LLC that you might have. You want to be able to distinguish both, loans, all right? Now, there's a few tricks with that. And by the way, I'm planning to come up with a spreadsheet that I think is going to help you a lot, or even better, a chart of account that's going to show how you need to set up your books, especially in QuickBooks, because I am certified for, I don't know, more than 10 years as a pro advisor. But, where you're going to be able to really track separately both of them, because the reality is if you don't, you can find yourself in a really ugly situation. I really don't want that for you, okay? And trust me, I just came out of a live webinar directly with Internal Revenue Services, which I do take quite a few webinars with them. I always like to be abreast of my career, but they're hiring a lot of agents right now, and they're going to start digging in, looking at fraud. Yeah, let me say that again, fraud. They're looking and they're going to start doing some investigations because they know some people double dip. And I don't want for that situation to happen to you, okay? So that's the thing with the update with the PPP. And like I said, if running from 8 to 24 weeks, again, doesn't mean you have until December 31st, okay? You might only have 24 weeks from the day that you receive the money. All right, from 75% that was required to spend all the money just in payroll, now that dropped to 60%. All right, now one of the things I think is really important is that some of you have asked me whether or not if you're collecting the emergency federal unemployment. Well, let me give you some news with that. If you are collecting unemployment, I know some of you are, right rock bottom, financially. Like I say, I have clients that are completely out of business, and it breaks my heart. And like I said, I'm waiting for my IDL loan, and some of you already have got it. So the fact is that if that's the situation, be cautious, be careful. Because if you apply for the federal unemployment, you're collecting that money, and then afterwards you got proof for the PPP, then no problem. You let go of the unemployment, don't be greedy now, and then go ahead and jump into getting your PPP loan. Start paying yourself payroll, okay? All right, so that's really important also. There's also a credit that what they're planning to do in Internal Revenue Services is extend actually the payroll taxes into December, which is another thing. So that's why it's important that you do connect with people like myself that do know up to date, not only the trend, and what I mean by that, and by all means, I'm not here to offend anyone. I've been in YouTube and my podcast for many, many years before many of these new creators came around. And I know a lot of people are just chatting and creating videos for the trend because, obviously they're monetizing the videos and they're making money out of this, right? And that's great and dandy for them. But the reality is always look at the financial background of that person who's really, talking, and are they really qualified? I mean, do they really have the experience to talk about the subject, right? And the reason why I say this because, again, I'm very active in YouTube for many years. And I know a lot of people are jumping in just, again, for the trend. They're making money, monetizing their videos. And what they're doing is they really don't have a financial background. They just don't. They just read and willing to do videos and share information among all, subscribers and audience. But the reality is that, there's a lot of information out there that is not correct. So just be careful with that. And again, like I said, for you, I'm glad that there's been positive changes with the PPP, but be cautious really with how you're handling, especially your record keeping, and making sure that your bookkeeper or yourself or whoever else is helping you, they understand the concept behind that. You have to know how to separate these monies as they come into the bank account, and you also have to know how you're utilizing the money and you're paying out from it, okay? Because I don't want you to get in trouble. And like I said, right now, just at a live webinar that I just got out a few hours ago, I mean, it really shocked me to know that they are hiring more agents, and they're suspicious that there's been some fraud and like I said, some double dipping. And as long as you can prove that the funds are being used properly, for example, that you didn't go out there and buy yourself a BMW or you decided to buy yourself a house or something that was nothing related to your business, then you should be okay. But again, remember that Uncle Sam always wants what? Black and white. They want proof. So make sure that you have your record keeping on order, nice and clear, black and white, no gray areas, because that could really bring up an audit. And audits are not pretty, and definitely something that's going to cost you a lot of money to get yourself out of trouble. So I always say be proactive, like I always said. And like I said, you feel free, if you think you found some value out of this information that I just shared with you, you can go back and watch some of my other videos and podcasts that I have. And subscribe and like and share. Obviously, that always helps. And again, I'm here for you, and I hope that my information, like I said, has been valuable some way, somehow for you. So you stay safe, and like I said, on the next video episode, I'm going to go ahead and actually talk about the EIDL, not only my personal experience, but also the things that I know that's going on around the area. And I think what's really important is the fact that a lot of times, a lot of these people, they're using the monies in a very different ways, and I think that's kind of a little concerning. And I just want to make sure, like I said, that you're going to be well sounded, that you're not going to find yourself in a really bad predicament, because they are setting up a good team to research and review all these loans. So just be cautious with that. And like I say, if I can be your help along with my team, then by all means reach out to me. But like I said, we are creating, whether an Excel sheet or also a some information to help you with your bookkeeper to establish the proper accounts that you need within QuickBooks, whether you're still using Excel. Make sure that you're tracking these things very separately, because you want to have it black and white. Like I said, no confusions there. And let's hope that Jovita finally approves more loans. Hello, we all need the help. So anyhow, again, I will see you in the next episode, and I wish you the best. Take care. Bye-bye.